Welcome back to Rock Stardust. My name is Robbie, and today we are looking at Guy Stevens, who was the producer of the amazing London Calling album by The Clash. He's a unique character. I describe him as a madman across the desk. He really was an apostle of rock and roll, going way back to the 60s with his love of R&B music. Even claimed at one point that there's only two Phil Spectors in this world, and I am one of them. But yeah, he did a lot of work with that sort of background in R&B and soul music. But he also worked with, Mott the Hoople, Traffic, Free, Procol Harum, bands like that. He even came up with the name Mott the Hoople for that band. So, that's where there's the connection too with, Mick Jones from The Clash, who, they were avid followers of, Mott the Hoople. So they sort of crossed paths along the way. But, he really did have a massive impact on the music scene, and particularly when it came to The Clash's London Calling record. So they first crossed paths for doing the demo for the first Clash album. And incredibly, when they first met, was in 1977. Guy Stevens had just been to see, Led Zeppelin's Song Remains the Same, and he was a fan of that band. But he was so disappointed with that concert, that movie portrayal there at the cinema, that he apparently pulled the record out of that sleeve and spiffed it, and it actually hit Joe Strummer in the eye. I was born in East London in 1943, and he was an avid record collector. He was also notorious as, a reputation as a bit of a wild man and a bit of a drunk as well, But he helped The Clash during those rehearsals, when they were doing the Vanilla Studios there, and lead up pre-production to The Clash's recording of London Calling at Wessex Studios. And famously, once the recording was done, when they were going to do that recording, he couldn't find the tapes from the Vanilla, the studios there, and they got lost on a train. But when they were trying to track him down, Joe Strummer was going through all of the pubs and stuff in Oxford trying to find, Guy Stevens to get him to work on the album. So they took a bit of a punt. I think the record label had some concerns around it, and Mick Jones was quoted as saying it was either going to be amazing or combust, right? So, but his whole ethic was all about bringing out emotion, from the musicians. So he didn't work in technical side so much. Bill Price did all that engineering, which did a great job. Guy Stevens injected what's called, his chosen technique was maximum emotion brought on by direct physical, psychic injection, So he would do things like swing ladders in the studio and all that kind of stuff, throw chairs everywhere, and just create this atmosphere, create that edge, so the boys could really play at their best and expand themselves. And he gave them the ability to free themselves up and, play without any restriction. And obviously that comes through in all the different stylistic elements of London Calling The Clash, which is a brilliant album. It's possibly my favorite album ever. And you can tell from the recordings of that album with its brilliance and variation. There is a lot of edge there, and he pushed them to the edge, no question about it. The story of a mysterious figure sat in the studio for hours while the guys were working on the album, and he just turned out to be a cab driver, who a guy hadn't paid, resulting in a rather large bill. So he was just hanging around waiting to get paid. There's also stories of, on the way to the studio, Guy would ask the cab driver to stop outside, Arsenal's home ground there, and he would go and kiss the hallowed turf, you know. He was obviously a big fan, and then get back in the cab and go to the studio. And another great story is when the CBS chief, Morris Oberstein, arrived, a pissed up guy, you know, lay in front of his Rolls Royce and refused to move until he admitted this new material was brilliant. That's great. And he would often grapple and fight over the controls in the mixing desk with the engineer, Bill Price. You know, trying to get that fader, like, I want this, I want it more drums here or more guitar, you know. Guy was so proud of the album though that he punched the air in triumph at the first playback. He was so delighted and excited about it, which is awesome, you know. And the influence of him also draws out in the performances, also with Joe's vocal, particularly on Right Profile, where Joe Strum is doing that spluttering, spittery kind of voice around that Monty Cliff character, and that's a definite influence from the way that Guy Stevens would sort of communicate up close. So that came through in that song as well, which is a great track. So basically, you know, the Clash did honor him with the song Midnight to Stevens, which is, you know, was a B-side when they were doing around that Sandinista period. So, you know, that says a lot too. You know, they appreciated his input and what helped produce one of the greatest rock albums of all time. And there's no question that his input and dynamics that he gave the band, the freedom he gave them, and pushing them to that edge really, really did make a huge difference. And you can hear it in those tracks when you put on the vinyl. So in August 1981, the news did come through that everyone feared, and Guy Stevens had died. Like Keith Moon, ironically, you know, taking the actual medication that the pills to help him stop drinking. He overdosed on them. So, yeah. So there's the album. Well done, Guy Stevens. Big raps to you. And hey, guys, if you do enjoy this material, please do like and subscribe. And do leave your comments in the comment section. That'd be just awesome. So, cheers. We'll catch you next time. Thanks.